Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for subscribing to the Mike and JD Show YouTube channel. Dude, I had to come on here with some breaking news. CM Punk has been fired from All Elite Wrestling, and JD and I just posted the video yesterday where we went over it and discussing whether or not he should be fired, and we had both come to the conclusion that he should. And then immediately after that, Ibu from Wrestle Purist, a backup Hangman, comes on and he's telling us, no, this guy ain't going anywhere. There's no possible way he's getting fired. And then sure enough, Tony Khan shit cans him today. And I immediately texted JD. I was like, dude, I got family in town. We should do some breaking news audio, but I'm not going to be able to break away to do a podcast. And he's like, dude, I got to work. He's actually shooting a wedding this weekend in Chicago. So he's actually, as part of his real job, he's actually filming a wedding. And then tomorrow he'll be at All Out. So there was just no way for us to get together to do a podcast. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll just do a quick video from my car. I feel like one of those Joe Biden hating Republicans from my pickup truck, yelling into a stereo about how much he hates the Democrats. But no. So, dude, I honestly did not think that Tony would fire him. I didn't think he had the guts. And I am pleasantly surprised that he did fire him. I think this was a big move. I think his company's going to be better for it. They might take a little bit of a hit, but honestly, All Out wasn't really sold out. And neither was Collision or Dynamite. The live event numbers have been down. Collision numbers are down. We thought that the Collision live event numbers would be up because they're on Saturdays, but that's not exactly the case either. So overall, if you take a look at the numbers, you take a look at the disruptions, and you take a look at the fact that this guy just continues to pull shit left and right. This is the second time he's gotten into a fight with some employees of the company. They really didn't have a whole lot of other choice but to fire him. This was, I thought this was a no-brainer. Like, even if, like, the guy is bringing you in tons of money, at some point, all that's going to stop. Like, he's not going to be a draw forever. And Meltzer had said it this morning on Wrestling Observer Radio that right now, actually, Maxwell Jacob Friedman and Adam Cole are bigger draws than CM Punk, and that CM Punk was the number 2 draw. So I think we're just going to see more of Max on Collision. I think we'll see more of the Elite on Collision now. There's not going to be, I don't think that we'll see as big a divide between Collision and Dynamite. You'll see people going back and forth a little bit more. I think Christopher Daniels will get to go back to work on Saturdays. I hope to God that Nick Nemeth doesn't show up on Collision. I think they need to keep that ban in place. But I think this is good news for AEW. CM Punk was a disruptive force, and it was just time for him to go. Now, what's next for Punk? You know what? I could honestly see him going back into retirement. He's in his mid-40s. He's got more money than he'll ever need. I get the feeling that, yes, whilst AEW did fire him, he probably had a clause in his contract to say that if he does get fired, there would be like a settlement there, and I get the feeling they're going to negotiate a settlement for him to be able to get a little bit of money as part of his getting fired. And I just don't see him going to WWE. I know Survivor Series is in Chicago this year, and it would be a bad look for WWE to bring him in at this point, considering if they brought him in after the first Brawl Out, after fighting the Elite, I think that situation was, unique. It seemed like it was a one-off at the time, and that there were a lot of different factors in play, and that he might have been the most wrong in that situation, but there were a lot of people at fault with that situation. With the Jungle Boy thing, this is all on him, and it's the second go-around. And he got into another fight with another employee, and I told my wife about this. I was like, because we were driving to the airport to go pick up my aunt, and she was like, she saw me just intently texting on my phone. I was texting JD. She's like, "What's going on? What are you so into?" And I was like, "Oh, well, she doesn't know wrestling." I was like, "This wrestler in AEW named CM Punk." She goes, "Oh, I've heard of him." I was like, "Well, he just got into another fight backstage. This is the second time, and Tony Khan, the company just fired him." And she goes, "Oh," and then I started to explain. She goes, "Well, who did he fight?" I was like, back in 2016, I think it was 2016, I actually took her to an all-pro wrestling show in San Francisco, and Jungle Boy was there. And I was like, "You remember that independent show that we went to in San Francisco?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, Well, he fought one of the guys from there. He fought Jungle Boy, and she goes, that little kid? Why would he fight that little kid? And I just started laughing. And I was like, well, that was a long time ago. He's like almost 30 now, and he's failing at growing a beard, but he's trying to be an adult. But yeah, he got into a fight with Jungle Boy, and she goes, well, that's so mean. I'm pretty sure my wife thinks that he's cute. So me and Jungle Boy got heat over this whole thing. But yeah, I think it would be a bad look for WWE to bring him in at this point. I don't think anybody there wants him to be there. I don't see him going there. And I've already seen Impact fans, saying it. I've been making the jokes because I love to make the jokes. But Impact fans are already saying that maybe he could show up at Bound for Glory because that's in Chicago. Look, I think that there's a better shot of me showing up at Bound for Glory Wrestling in the main event than there is of CM Punk coming to Chicago. But stranger things have happened. If I'm Impact, I take a shot at it. They're getting ready to overhaul their whole production. They're going to be playing some bigger venues next year, maybe. They might be trying to get another TV deal, which is why they might be trying to upgrade their production. If you're them, you try to negotiate something and be like, hey, Punk, we don't want you around all the time, but maybe if we can get 6 to 8 matches out of you next year, try to negotiate something like that. But I really don't see that. I really don't see that as an option. I just don't see that happening. But look, pro wrestling is crazy. I didn't think for a long time that Punk would even come back. I didn't think that Tony Khan would fire him. So I'm kind of wrong a lot about the Punk situation. But I was right that he should be fired. Tony Khan agreed with me, and he is now fired, and he will no longer be a thorn in the side of All Elite Wrestling. But hey guys, that's it for me. Thank you for subscribing to the Mike and JD YouTube channel. Make sure to like this video, comment on the video, and share it with your friends. And then if you want more of this type of content, you want to hear our full content and our full library, head over to patreon.com/the Mike and JD Show. And until next time, I am out.